Hello, Posse.
What's up, everybody?
How's it going? This is Brandon.
And Mark.
Jayson.
And I am Chad. Obviously, we have a guest in here, Jayson. Jayson, where did you get your... First of all, just tell everybody a little bit who you are and your moniker. Where did you get the name?
Where did
I wanted to ask you that. That's why I've been really quiet the whole time.
Where did I get my name?
Yak.
Yak. Well, yakface.com is the site that I own and operate for about, I don't know, a decade now, it seems like.
Nice.
Yeah, I started back with yakface.com I started as a contributor, I think, April of 2004, right before Revenge of the Sith. I'd submit posts to different sites, toy collecting sites, Rebel Scum, Sandtroopers.com, all these sites that were around back then. Sir Steve's Guide, I don't know if people remember that one.
No.
But yeah, just as an everyday, toy fan and, submitting store reports.
And now you run the site.
And now I run the site.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
And
That's
so how long
awesome.
has this been now?
So I've been running the site, I think, for about 12 years.
And you've contributed for how many years?
Well, since 2004, so 16.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you're...
old.
Welcome to our club.
Yes.
So you are quite the Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I'd say that.
And I'm being facetious.
Right.
And I have a million questions to ask you,
Okay.
but can I just, besides kind of backing up where you started and everything else, can you tell me about the lightsaber real quick?
Sure.
Because that thing is so dope.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
This is an actual Graflex
An actual-
flash bulb
Oh, okay.
that was used. It's a former camera part where the body of the camera here and this plugged on the side, and there used to be a light bulb that plugged in here, and there's a flash. Old time camera.
Okay. Yeah.
So my dad he's retired, professional photographer, portrait family photographer, weddings and whatnot.
Okay.
And about 20, 30 years ago, he was rummaging through a box in his studio, a studio he ran for 40 years. And he came across a box of flash units like this.
Oh, nice.
And
Like every Star Wars fan's like, oh,
We know what that
I'm
is.
like, are you kidding me?
yeah.
And there was like a half a dozen of these, and there's different styles depending on the manufacturer. There's Highland, I believe, is another one. I have that one as well, but this was the one I kept. I managed to trade off or sell some of the other ones to help fund toy purchases.
That's
as
the
we,
way.
as we
a
always
veteran,
do.
a veteran collector.
Yeah.
What did you
Do a
do to
little
what
close-up.
what kind of modifications did you need to make that look so?
The only thing I added the rubber grips
Okay.
that go around the edge. This is the A New Hope version because
Okay.
Nice.
each movie has a slightly different style, but this is the one I went with since it was the quote-unquote original. It's got the calculator bulb. I don't even know what the part is called that uses the activation
Nice.
thumb device there, and then I just added the D-ring clip to the bottom. And
That's the classic. Like every lightsaber has to have a clip,
It
Right.
has to.
right.
Do you think that this is something that
except
Luke-
Darth Maul.
Do you think this is something that Lucas probably was aware of, kind of like the ice cream maker that was in
Right.
Return, or excuse me, Empire? Do you think it was just some kind of a little modification? He saw the same thing that you did and
Yeah.
said, hey, this is something that can be modified and turned into a lightsaber?
Yeah, the prop people that worked on Lucasfilm, they repurposed everything from vintage, World War II weapons and grenades and whatever.
Yeah.
So it was just like whatever was around that they could tweak
Modify
slightly
or-
to make look,
I mean, what the soundstage was in England, right?
Yeah,
right.
right.
So all of that stuff is over there. But this is one of, if my house was burning down, I think there's another piece which I didn't bring because it's too large to bring in here. But
That was,
this is what I would grab.
Oh, okay.
So
What is the other larger piece that you're talking about?
my wife and I, who've been married for 15 years.
Awesome.
On our first or second date, she brought me the Pepsi Episode 1 Yoda, that was from Blockbuster or whatever.
Yeah.
the big
Oh,
standing
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
and it was just like at my apartment one day when I came in.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, she won it or something. I don't even remember the story. I'm just in awe of the whole thing. Every time when I saw it, I just walked in and she said, I could have this. And I'm like, okay.
Is she a Star Wars fan?
She tolerates my Star Wars fandom.
That's all you can ask. That's the best you can ask for without her being a collector.
She lets me have my little my little room in the basement, squirreled away, and as long as stuff doesn't spill out, I can just keep it contained. And I've taken over part of the garage with some storage. We've got a decent sized garage,
but hey, it's a garage. No one's like guests aren't going in the garage.
It's not a livable space. It could be if I took all my stuff out of there, but
a garage is a fancy name for a car hold.
Right.
How's that?
So I got a lot of stuff, but yeah, she tolerates my fandom. She's come around a lot more with some of the more recent things that have come into fandom. Mandalorian obviously has been like the big thing that's the latest thing that have brought in new fans. But
you are obviously a lot more well versed in Star Wars than I or a few others here. Even though I went to see Star Wars when I was 4 and remember it vividly, going over and over again. And you talked about Episode 1. Where does your collection span?
Spans from the beginning.
Yeah.
I was born in '74.
Okay.
Just real quick, I'm gonna pull up as you keep talking.
Sure.
I'm gonna pull up the website.
So I was born in '74. I saw Star Wars for the first time at a drive-in.
Oh, nice.
In 1977.
77.
Mm-hmm.
And
you saw it in a drive-in.
I did. And
jealous.
When I saw it, whoever the camera operator was, my dad is. I remember vividly my dad telling me the story because I think I remember seeing it, but I don't.
But you hear the story enough that you feel like you're like, oh, I got it.
He said all their heads were cut off because they didn't have the film.
Oh, the angle.
So we didn't know what Darth Vader looked like at the time.
Nice.
Everything was cut off. So that's kind of the story that was told. But
hilarious.
I'll stick with it. I was there for it at least.
It's kitschy too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks. But yeah, and then that Christmas, not the 77 Christmas, but the following, since none of the toys were out that year, I got my first Star Wars action figures, and another one here. R2 is my first ever.
That's your first ever Star Wars figure?
That is.
No kidding.
Sorry, give me a second.
Yep. Worn out stickers and all. Wouldn't sell it for anything.
Really though? Like you're not gonna get repro stickers and
no,
make it look nice?
No way. I mean, I've got
people...
a nice, vintage display loose collection that I have out, but that one.
Nice.
No,
this
which
is like the nostalgia piece.
Which
It's like your first one.
Which one is that? Because I know there's like 3 versions.
Right, it's the original.
The original
came with the early bird.
So it didn't even make the blinky sounds.
It's got the click head still.
Okay.
But it doesn't have the pop-up sensor scope or the lightsaber. Obviously, this is the 78 version.
I've never seen the pop-up.
The lightsaber one is my if I win the lottery, I'm gonna get like a mint condition.
Right. And
Return of the Jedi.
Yep. So that was my first. I remember that year I got Luke, Obi-Wan, the Vinyl Cape Jawa, and I lost the gun for the Vinyl Cape Jawa that same day. I had it
classic
for about
classic
2 hours.
Yeah. Opened it up and everything.
Where'd that go?
And
now the Vinyl Cape Jawa is the rarest one to find, right? Or is it the cloth one?
The
vinyl is the
Cape
hard
is
one.
the most expensive common one.
Okay.
Not counting like the telescoping.
Right,
like
telescoping ones
and stuff. Yeah.
Lightsabers were a bit tough to find.
If you can be so kind, Brandon, can you pull up his website again? But when you talk about the multi different generations, do you collect all of those? So
I do.
You're kind of a purist and you're kind of a completionist as well.
Yeah, I collect everything. To say I collect everything Star Wars isn't really possible. From the Kenner / Hasbro action figure standpoint, that's my main focus.
Mm-hmm.
I do dabble in other things, lines outside.
Did you get this? Speaking of toys, this big, was it $400?
The Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
I hemmed and hawed over it. I have the first ones. It's been released 2 times before. This one is slightly different for the fact the paint is different. It's got different sound effects. It includes swappable radar dishes to have like the sequel trilogy rectangle one you can kind of see there in the picture.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously it includes Hondo and Chewie with some porgs. It's supposed to go up again for pre-order tomorrow. It went for pre-order up a couple days ago, and like way early in the morning it was gone right away, $400.
Yeah, right.
But that's kind of attributable to bots and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
So, leaving your website up there, Brandon, where you first started years ago to where you are now, what is the evolution of your website, and what is it doing? What did it do then, and how does it operate now?
Well, back when the site first started, obviously the internet was kind of new.
Right.
So it was all just, people were just posting pictures and kind of talking about toys, and, then forums came along and people were able to gather and whatnot online socially kind of before the whole social media thing took off.
Yeah.
So that was what our site kind of was at the beginning. It was forums and just news posts.
Right here. It says forums right on the side there.
Yep.
Still like keeping on to the roots.
Yep.
I like
yep.
it.
We have a really active customizing group that participates a lot in our forums.
Nice.
We have like
click on that. And let's see what it looks like.
some monthly challenges and whatnot. You could kind of see some things there.
Nice.
But
I like it.
Cool.
Wow, and these are all customs?
yeah, there's different. If you were to click on, let's say, the first one on the left there, the Rebel Militia, there's different. We have a customizing, customizing challenge every month or so. We vote on a group of figures,
Nice.
and then we're gonna make customs based on the winner.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Okay. Look
and
at
then
that.
people submit, and then we vote kind of throughout the course of the month, and whoever wins, we send them gifts from the site. Like
Oh, nice. Okay.
so
Swag.
toys
or whatever.
and because we have Entertainment Earth as a sponsor,
And they
so we
give you free
get stuff. So we'll
Nice.
send them vehicles or
nice.
Very
we'll
cool.
we'll purchase stuff on our own even.
Yeah.
I've done that for years, and
Yeah.
we use them as gifts for winners that and it's not really winner. It's just popular vote kind of a a
Yeah,
Go
but I
with
mean,
it.
also if they did worked really hard, it's cool to be
Yeah,
like, hey, I'm
you know,
recognized.
Yeah.
This site really gets
Appreciates
us because
the-
I'm a fan of Star Wars.
right. So like
Going
even
to a spot run by fans of Star Wars.
right, and it's like the winner gets the first pick, and then like the 2 runners up will get the pick of what's left. So we're,
Okay, nice.
everyone kind of
So
gets
everybody, the top 3 will
top
win.
3 kind of get stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And
we've
you're
been doing
judged
that for
by
years.
your peers.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
and-
it's kind of an honor,
Yep.
So I assume that you have a custom category. You also have probably a vintage category of collectors as well.
Yep,
Right here.
there's a lot of
Vintage
different.
collections. Like it has everything. Like it's like you are a fan of it. Like that sect of Star Wars. It's like
Right.
Yak Face. Like just go on there.
Love
Yep.
it.
So there's different groups there. As far as the site goes, as with everything, there's an evolution. A long time we were maintaining, at least I was. That was my kind of main job at the beginning when I started was a toy guide, where like everyone else, they get pictures, they do turnarounds of all the figures or vehicles and whatnot, and have a online archive of everything. And I maintain that from when I started about 2005 until maybe I guess when Rogue One came out, or maybe even before that, episode 7. It just became so time consuming, just with everything that kept the deluge of merchandise.
Yeah.
And then back then, I've got 4 kids now. I've got zero time for,
Yeah.
for as
Life
much time as I
happens.
do have,
Yeah.
I devote to what I do with the site now, and that's it's still reporting. A lot of the stuff that I do now personally is about leaked information as far as finding.
How many people do you have actively helping you do that type of stuff now?
You mean like admins type of thing?
You're
No, it's that part of the site is me.
yeah.
it's
But
just-
I mean, you have
I've
people
got
that
I've got
contribute.
some sources that are out there. I've got a half a dozen good sources that
We'll list them all in the description after the episode.
phone numbers.
Big shout outs for all of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've been very helpful with the success of the site as far as confirming things that I found online. Because, like, everything is either coded nowadays or, you just don't know what it is. It's named something that is not relative at all to what the toy is.
Yeah, just like
Right.
with new movies now, it's like,
Right,
oh, like what was this code named whatever, but it's really
Screaming
like
Eagle.
Avengers 5 or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
that's been. I've got some, like I said, some good sources that help confirm that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't put out there that I can't because there's only certain people that know certain
Oh, yeah,
information.
you can't,
And
yeah,
you
you can't
can't
out 'em like
share
that,
it.
yeah.
Right,
Comes
and it would
out
just
or
trail right
Yeah.
back to a
Whoever
few
it
select
was.
people that have seen
Yeah.
things.
And so the one thing I saw earlier this week was the Wampa that's coming out, and we have a couple admin in the group that are big Tauntaun fans, and they're a little upset about the whole cover card of it
Oh,
the
yeah.
opened up Tauntaun in the background.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I knew if there was a Tauntaun coming back out, I would obviously put it out there. But,
with opening, so
Right,
you can shove a link
Billy.
in there.
right.
I have done everything I can to avoid your website and avoid your Insta to ask you all of these questions to kind of keep it fresh. So I'm trying to
Right.
give that perspective.
Sure.
And I wanted to ask you a couple hard questions too.
Okay.
Being a Star Wars fan myself, do you find it harder to be a fan these days with everything going on? Or
Not-
I guess the better question is, let me rephrase that. Do you find it harder to decipher and go through so much content that they're throwing out there these days?
That is a good question. Up until this point, everything that's come out has been kind of, you could fit it into eras of Star Wars that are familiar. Like prequel trilogy, in between prequels and original trilogy, in between original and sequels, and then
Yeah.
there's
Everything
stuff
has its
sprinkled in.
own
Right.
spot,
And
its
now
own
we're getting
spot.
into this new era, this High Republic era that's
Yeah.
all new. And I'm like, oh, are we starting over a new thing?
Yeah, it's like,
Do I have to invest? Because I was never like a big reader of EU material. There's some, right when it first came back, there's the Shadows of the Empire, all that stuff that was fresh Star Wars after having years of no content.
Yeah.
That was really exciting.
I love the
And
game, the comics. Like I
comics,
got
books, novels.
big
I
into the
had
Shadows
the
of the
books
Empire.
on tape. I'm just like, I was so into that stuff. And then so many books came out, and it's like, do I need to follow this storyline? Is it relative? Does it mean anything? And then Disney comes along, and George sells to that, and then it kind of erases that, but pulls from it. And it's like, I'm kind of glad I didn't invest all that time, because that time is, not.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, now they're
but-
cherry picking. Like,
Right,
hey, what are
right,
the fans
and that's
complaining
fine.
about? We can
Right.
cherry pick this from the EU and
Right. So
put it into canon for Disney or whatever.
like,
Do you like some of the backstories that they're creating?
I do. I think
I do too.
It all supports the story and the fandom and the content. If it makes sense to do it, then fine. If they overwrite stuff that we've all known or some people have been following for years, it's kind of too bad. But then it's fresh for everyone, and it keeps everything,
Cohesive.
yeah.
Yeah, I get
So-
that. You want to talk about these other these? I'm pretty sure I know what these are.
Yeah, they're kind of, you sense a theme here. This was the last vintage figure I bought that I needed to complete my loose collection. Obviously, it's Yak Face.
Nice.
And it's in pretty decent shape, I would say.
Yeah.
Joe
That'd be
Camel.
really nice.
What's
like,
that?
Yeah,
Joe
Joe
Camel.
Camel. Joe Camel decided to move to Mos Eisley after
Right.
the whole cigarette business went bust.
He's a little discolored maybe in the torso. I don't know. I never really noticed. looking at it like
When was Yak Face released?
85,
Okay.
I believe. On the Power of the Force card. With the,
Like, which movie?
I'm
was
sorry,
it?
but I'm just going to say this
Return
right
of the
now.
Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Okay.
Power of the Force
Okay,
to me is one of going to be the hidden gems. Those are the guys that look all beefy, right?
no, that's
No.
Power of the Force 2.
Oh, okay. My
The
bad.
That-
original
those
Power
are-
of the Force was mid '80s, right?
Yeah, that was that was 85.
I still think all those beefy characters that look like He-Man that were just
Those are-
kind of
It makes sense that he likes the
Well,
90s one.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
he looked like me finally.
Those are the 95, 96 era. That's
Yeah.
that's the resurgence of
That
Star
was
Wars.
that was.
looking
I feel
back.
like isn't that what kind of like Kickstarted, because then George went back and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna re-release their trilogy," and then right before the prequels came out, it was like you couldn't go anywhere without Star Wars. It was like it was 77, 78 again.
Yep, it was all kind of going to fund the special editions, and then the special editions helped to fund the creation of the prequels, and But,
now, am I incorrect or correct when I say that Yak Face? I'm a big fan of the old Droids cartoon. Wasn't he on there briefly?
I believe so. That was another piece I was going to bring in. There's a collector, customizer. His name is Bill Cable. He produced a Yak Face on a card. It was a very limited edition thing, totally custom, on a Droids card back. Very cool. Came with a coin and everything.
Oh, wow.
And I was able to get one of those. It was, I don't even remember how much I spent. I didn't even care. It's just like, I just wanted one.
Even if
original
it
art.
seems expensive, it's like the secondary value. You just buy it now,
right?
Because you're gonna pay up to triple, quadruple is what retail is.
Right.
So.
He runs the site, or is part of Creature Cantina. That's the site he's affiliated with. But yeah, that was when you say Yak Face being on the Droids cartoon. I've never watched all of them. About 3 months ago, I started to, because I think they were free on YouTube.
Yeah,
you can watch them, and I started watching a couple of them. Like, okay, this is about what I thought it was going to be, you know. But I've never seen all of it, so I don't know if he's in it officially or not.
I think I know which one it is because I watched them constantly. There was two. I spent one summer that I had blown out my knee, so I watched two things. I watched all of the Droids over and over again, even when they went into Ewoks. And then I watched a whole bunch of Danger Mouse, but I don't want to talk about that.
Before, a couple months ago.
I think I can find it for you.
Before a couple months ago, I had never watched an episode of Droids. I've still never seen an episode of Ewoks.
You're lucky.
And I've never bought any of the merchandise for either.
Did you see the live-action Ewok movie that they did?
Nope.
They made for TV?
Battle for Endor.
Yeah. Caravan of Courage.
I was like,
never seen
I watched it as a
those.
kid. I'm like, where's the lightsabers?
Yeah. I have it on VHS if anybody wants to watch it.
I demand Jedi's.
Arthur here?
Yeah.
I think those came out at a time where, not that my collecting or my fandom shifted from Star Wars, but I was like, Transformers, G.I. Joe, man.
All that.
So
it was
much.
Like the heyday of Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, I was just all into that,
Yeah.
So much. And where's this other Yak Face from?
This is a custom one that a fan sent me.
Oh, wow.
JP, I got his name here. I didn't want to screw it up for him. I'll have to find it again. But he has Twin Sons Customs. He does some stuff for that website, custom pieces and whatnot. But
Mark, you want to show that?
He's
That's custom, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's a weird size.
Yep, it's the 6-inch scale.
Man,
but it was just something he produced for me out of the blue. He just wanted my name and address, and we've kept in touch since.
Super cool.
That's
really
one
cool.
of the Instagram followers that the site has. He's
That's awesome.
He contacted me and offered to.
That's like a cool and humbling thing, It's like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah, I get people that send me things all the time, and it's really
that's cool. That's
really great.
Well, it just shows hey, I have this big following now.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing.
We appreciate what you're doing, so we're gonna send you gifts.
Right. Yeah, and not that I'm trying to plug this at all, but a few days ago, I started a Patreon account for the site just to help. Because people had been contacting me for a long time. Do you have a Patreon? Blah blah blah. I'm like, no. Do I need one? It's like and
that's the way of it now with podcasts,
right? To help
some YouTube channels, a lot of Twitch streamers and stuff.
Yeah, and in the past, I just started a couple days ago, Monday maybe. And I've got 60 people now that
nice, dude,
are giving me money every month, and I'm like, wow, this is I thanked them up and down.
Doing the Lord's work, man.
But, man, I was.
This is the new era of collectors, of fans, of on social media, YouTubers, all of these things that people will give you money.
Right.
And I was actually talking to somebody about this with Patreon and everything. And do you remember what the first thing that started with that Patreon was associated with?
Mm-mm.
The Radiohead In Rainbows album that they dropped and said, go to our website and just pay us whatever you want.
Oh,
Oh,
that's.
weird.
And
I
do you remember that?
I do remember.
And within a weekend, they got 300 million.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, it just
Not
goes to
quite
show
there.
when
Yeah,
people
right.
when people are loyal and people really care about what, and you're bringing a just cause of diehard fans.
Well, the
Obviously, you know what you're
information,
doing.
Yeah.
To collectors, information is everything. It's all about, because you want to be
Right.
first. You
Well,
want
that inside scoop is always, especially with Star Wars.
You know,
Yeah.
and
For a long time, I guess until right around episode 7 and Rogue One, about then, I was affiliated with Hasbro as far as being invited to Toy Fair and getting promotional merchandise as far as
cool.
to help promote the product and press releases and all that kind of stuff. And over the years leading up to then, I could see it was. I felt it unfair that if Hasbro says, we don't want you to talk about something someone found in the store because it leaked out early,
Oh, okay.
or someone,
Which is very common.
right, or someone in the warehouse of Target took a picture of a toy that was not supposed to be opened until a certain date, and you posted it online. We'd like you to take that down.
Oh, yeah.
Of course I did, but over the years of that repeatedly happening, I'm like, I don't want to play by these dumb rules anymore.
It just builds up the
Yeah.
hype. I don't
Good
know
for
why they don't
you.
understand that.
Right,
It's
and-
like they know it's going to come
Because
out.
they see
Somebody,
money being lost,
but there's not, because then people are going to be like, "You're still buying. You're
Right.
still going to buy out the figure." So I don't.
what they
you know.
want, they want it.
Yeah,
to
they
be
want
like-
all the marketing.
Yeah,
and be,
but see,
okay.
that's control. But I see
Yeah.
that as free publicity.
for sure.
Right, and
So that's bravo to you, sir. I mean,
Yeah.
you let them go? Did you write a letter and say, hey, man?
I post there's a public letter I put on my website saying end of an era, business as usual. I
Uh-huh.
was just gonna keep
Yeah, keep
doing
going.
what I was gonna do, and
and just
You
not
addressed
answer
it
their,
and
just
moved
not
on.
care. Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
not take their notes
Smart.
anymore.
Yeah.
right. And I just
Good
said-
for you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play by those rules. I felt it to be. I said I would honor every request from them for me to take down something they didn't want posted, but they have to tell me to do it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna just arbitrarily. Oh, I found something in the store. It shouldn't be out on the shelf yet. I guess I can't post it. I
Yeah.
just wasn't gonna
Yeah.
do that. That was
Yeah.
stupid.
Ask
Time.
for
And
They
other
can't
webs,
stop
permission,
the
yeah.
news.
right?
No.
And,
Yeah. Right.
I had friends with other sites, and I talk to a lot of people at other websites. We all
Yeah.
are on a messenger group. We talk all the time. All of these sites don't do the same thing that I do, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally fine with that. I'm not trying to scoop them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to say I'm not playing by the rules. You're bound by, so you guys get free stuff or
Yeah.
invites or whatever. It's not about that. I don't want to be handcuffed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just keep putting out information.
Well, that would just
Yeah.
be the first handcuff
And,
of many.
Yeah. Right.
That's the sad thing.
But as we kind of wind down, we were talking earlier, like, because you're a member of the Minnesota Toy Posse,
Yeah.
the National Toy Posse. You said you went last year to a swap. Kind of how was that kind of experience? Like, kind of going in, and they get pretty crowded, like, pretty quickly.
Yeah, obviously this was before the whole
Yeah.
Oh.
pen, whatever. And no, it was great. I brought like several Tupperware totes full of stuff, and I sold through a lot of it.
Nice.
And it did
Oh,
really
you had
well.
you were a vendor there. Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
I was a vendor, and I've been to them before. As far as in Bloomington, there's been
Uh-huh.
a couple that I've
Knights of
gone to.
Columbus
Yep.
and the
Yeah.
VFW.
Yep.
And
So every time I've ever gone or dealt with anyone from the Toy Posse group, it's always been perfect. I've never had a bad
it's a
transaction.
great
I've-
community.
I've
you know.
just the the Facebook group, just talking to people on there.
Did you bring your kids with?
I brought them to one of the swaps that I was just shopping at, and then I brought my daughter to the one I had a table at.
Oh, nice.
And she worked
Okay.
with me the whole day there. And
Oh, cute.
It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, she had a good
So-
time.
That's the one
Yeah.
thing that I always say. I don't have any children, but if I do, it'd be the hardest to take them to a swap and say no because everything's so cheap.
Yeah, right.
No
right.
way.
They'd be
You
like, I
send
wanna
your
play with
kid
that
to
too,
get the
man.
toys you want.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah,
everybody
right.
will give the kids the
Go-
deals, you know.
He says it's worth $20, but give him $9 and
See if
see.
you,
And just
you only
Yeah,
got
right.
10. You only got 10.
start pouring out the tears.
Yeah.
Brandon, do I have enough for three quick questions for him?
Yeah. Then we'll let him plug his socials.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
3 quick questions I have for you.
Okay.
One, the first trilogy, first original, favorite out of the 3.
Empire.
Easily answered. The second 3.
Revenge of the Sith.
Wow. Okay, I disagree with you on that one.
Wow, they'll be fighting outside.
I know, right? And then random out of the last 5 years.
I would have to say whatever it's okay. The Last Jedi is my favorite of the.
All right, we're gonna end
Sequel
it now.
trilogy.
We're gonna end it now.
I know that's. I knew
No,
that's
it gets
where
a
that
lot
was
of
gonna
flack,
go.
but I don't. I
love
liked
that movie.
it, but
I love
you know,
that
I'm
movie.
just glad that they were able to wrap it up.
The movie yanked a lot of emotion out of people.
Yeah.
So
I
I,
think
get
people
that. I
didn't
got
want to let go.
teary-eyed. I'm
People
not
didn't
gonna.
want to let go of like Luke Skywalker. It's like, oh, he's been my hero since 1977. It's
Yeah.
like now
Okay, I lied. I got 3. I got one more question.
Oh, you
What?
liar.
What is? I know. What is if you had any just an open check? What would be your holy grail to buy?
My God.
Oh.
Rocket firing Boba Fett.
I
Oh,
knew you were gonna.
nice,
I was
okay.
just gonna exempt
That
that,
just
but
sold. That just sold on Hake's Americana.
Yeah,
man.
for like
Oof.
200 and stuff.
All
200,000.
right, real quick,
whatever.
plug your socials.
Yakface.com. Twitter is yak_face. I'm on Instagram. I'm on now on
Same
Patreon.
yak_face.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we'll put all that in the description and the link to your Patreon.
Perfect.
Hey man, thank you for showing up, dude.
Absolutely.
I really
Yes.
and you're
Sure.
welcome back anytime, and
For
you
sure.
can bring
We're-
more cool stuff. I
would be
really
great.
I'm a local, so I
and
can.
we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
We can
thank
talk
you
about
for
my
coming,
views of Star Wars being a money grab.
Man. Oh God,
and
yeah. Watch out.
There'll
what
be-
the state of toys are going to be here in the
All
next
right,
few
guys.
years.
And just to let
Yeah.
everybody know, before we close this out, I will be talking to him about his choice on his last movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As
ready.
in talking with a fist.
Yes,
All right,
peace
guys.
out, people.
Peace out, everyone.